Morning. I'll read a little bit out of the big book again today, chapter 4, We Agnostics. In the preceding chapters, you have learned something of alcoholism. We hope we have made clear the distinction between the alcoholic and non alcoholic. If, when you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if when drinking you have little control over the amount you take, you are probably alcoholic. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. To one who feels he is an atheist or an agnostic, such an experience seems impossible. But to continue as he is means disaster, especially if he is an alcoholic of the hopeless variety, much like myself. To be doomed to an alcoholic death or to live on a spiritual basis are not always all easy alternatives to face. But it isn't so difficult. About half our original fellowship were of the exact same type. At first, some of us tried to avoid the issue, hoping against hope we were not true alcoholic. But after a while, we had to face the fact that we must find a spiritual basis of life or else. Perhaps it's going to be that way with you. But cheer up. Something like half of us thought we were atheist or agnostic. Our experience shows that you need not be disconcerted. If a mere code of morals or better philosophy of life were sufficient to overcome alcoholism, many of us would have recovered long ago. But we found that such codes and philosophies did not save us, no matter how much we tried. We wished we could be moral. We could wish to be philosophically comforted. Son of a bitch. Philosophically comforted. In fact, we could will these things with all our might, but the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, as marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed utterly. Lack of power. That was our dilemma. We had to find a power by which we could live, and it had to be a power greater than ourselves, obviously. But where and how were we to find this power? Well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main objective is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem. That means we have written a book which we believe to be spiritual as well as moral. And it means, of course, that we're going to talk about God. Here, difficulty arises with agnostics. Many times we talk to a new man and watch his hope rise as we discuss his alcoholic problems and explain our fellowship. But his face falls when we speak of a spiritual matter, especially when we mention God. For we have reopened a subject which our man thought he had neatly evaded and entirely ignored. We know how he feels. We have shared his honest doubt and prejudice. Some of us have been violently anti religious. To others, the word God brought up a particular idea of him which someone had tried to impress them during childhood. Perhaps we rejected this particular conception because it seemed inadequate. With that rejection, we imagined we had abandoned the God idea entirely. We were bothered with the thought that faith and dependence upon a power beyond ourselves was somewhat weak, even cowardly. We looked upon this world of warring individuals, warring theological systems, and inexplicable calamity with deep skepticism. We looked askance at many individuals who claimed to be godly. How could a supreme being have anything to do with it all? And who could comprehend a supreme being anyhow? Yet in other moments we found ourselves thinking, when enchanted by a starlit night, who then made all this? There was a feeling of awe and wonder, yet it was fleeting and soon lost. Yes, we of agnostic temperament have had these thoughts and experiences. Let us make haste to reassure you. We found that as soon as we were able to lay aside prejudice and express even a willingness to believe in a power greater than ourselves, we commenced to get results, even though it was impossible for any of us to fully define or comprehend that power, which is God. Big book, chapter 4. So, when I first got sober, I was not big on the God idea. Uh, I felt like God had forsaken me, left me to fend for myself, so I didn't believe there was a power greater than myself. Um, but it's in there again, that word willingness. You know, the key to this all is a willingness, willingness to believe in a power greater than ourselves, willingness to accept that we're alcoholic and that our lives are unmanageable, willingness to accept that there's people that have gone before us who've done this thing and gotten sober. Willingness is the key for everything. So you can't dwell too much on the God concept. Um, that'll just keep you out there drinking. It's like what we done talked about in the other video about hope. You know, we can sit and hope for something to happen, and until we take action, nothing's going to happen. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So, people who are agnostic or atheist, and there are people that are in the program that are both, that are sober because they have a willingness to believe there's something other than themselves that's in charge. For me, I've said before, there's two things that I know about God. There is one, and I'm not him. So, the moment that I became willing to believe in a power greater than myself, that's when things started to turn around. Um, and today I pray. I pray in the mornings, I pray at night. Um, I'm not really good about getting on my knees as far as like praying at home at night. I typically do it when I'm laying in bed. Um, in the mornings, I do it out here in my shop, in the gift shop. Um, and I pray simple prayers, selfless prayers. I don't ask God for material things. He's not Santa Claus. Um, I just ask him to, in the mornings, I ask him to help me, you know, understand his will for me for today, and give me the ability to try to live up to what his will for me is. Um, I pray also in the mornings for people who are sick and suffering from this disease, as well as other people in the world. And then, friends, family, other people that have requested prayer, I include them in my daily prayers. Uh, I have a list of people that are on my daily prayer. And uh, at night, I reflect on my day and I ask God, you know, if I've done something that I feel was inappropriate or whatever, I ask God to give me the willingness and the ability to be able to rectify those situations and make them right. Um, and then there's during the day I talk to God a lot, um, but I typically ask Him to help me to be a better father, a better husband, a better friend, a better person. Um, that's it's where I'm at today with the God thing. Like I said, I don't uh, necessarily subscribe to any organized religion. Uh, I find fault with them all. Um, it's probably just me being too picky. Uh, but my relationship with my higher power is my relationship with my higher power. And, even in dark times, my wife and I have had, things come up that it just seemed the whole thing seemed bleak, but I always tell her God will provide. And in the end, he always does. God always comes through. Maybe not in the fashion that we would like, but he does come through. It's like they said, when God closes, a window, he opens a door. I personally, I more believe that, when somebody says to me, well, when one door closes, another door opens, you know, I more believe that if the door closes, I can open it back up. If a window closes, I can open it back up. That's how doors and windows work. They open and close, so if this window closes and it's something that I still feel like I need to do, then just open the fucking window back up. I don't let things defeat me just because there's obstacles in my path. You know, Nobody said, you're gonna find God in this program and life's gonna be great. You know, Alcoholics and addicts in recovery, we still have normal everyday problems. We are just learning a new way to live and deal with those. We're learning to live life on life's terms, so I don't know. This one's kind of rambling this morning. It just struck me that I wanted to read from the book, that Agnostics chapter. Um, just to let people know that it don't let the God thing hang you up. Don't let it keep you out of here. You know. Um, I guess that's it for today. Have a great day. Love you all. Bye.